extra chew. And this is tray arithmetic plus a little bit of pre-algebra. We were talking about in an earlier lesson, simplifying algebraic expressions. 1A, this is 1B. I have two challenge problems here. This is a simple challenge problem. This one is a little bit harder because you're using the distributive property. Let's work through these and see if you did them correctly. So, in this first one, the first thing that I want to do is change every subtraction sign to plus the opposite. It just makes it less likely that you're going to make a mistake with a negative sign. So minus 3p is the same as plus negative 3p. Minus 6m is the same as plus negative 6m. Now I'm going to combine like terms. So I just take a color, since I'm doing this on a whiteboard, and I'm going to underline everything that has an m as its variable. Well, this doesn't have one, so I don't underline it. This sure does, so I underline it. This doesn't have one, I don't underline it. So I'm going to take my 4m and add it to my negative 6m. Okay? So, now I'm going to add this to my like terms of p. So this has a variable of p. This has a variable of p. So I have negative 3p plus p. So I can use the associative property to say I can group those together. They have like terms. And likewise the same here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these parentheses down here. And I'm going to reverse the distributive property by factoring out their variable, their common variable. What do you multiply by m to get 4m? 4. What do you multiply by m to get negative 6m? Negative 6. Some people don't need that step. They can automatically go to this step. That's fine if you can get the right answer. But I'm also dealing with those that can't get the right answer. So what do they have in common? What is their common variable? P. What do you multiply by p to get negative 3p? Negative 3. What do you multiply by p to get p? 1. Now we simplify it. 4 plus negative 6 is negative 2. And we're multiplying that by m. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. Multiplying that by p. An alternate way to write this, plus a negative, remember what we did here? You can also reverse it, and most textbooks will do this. But they mean the same thing. That rectangled answer and the one above it are the same. That is simple combining like terms. Now the problems get harder, and what makes them harder? The distributive property. So I have the distributive property here and here. So that is the first thing I have to do after I change subtraction to plus the opposite. So I've only got one of those, which is right here. So I'm just going to come over here and change it right here instead of do another line, because I'll need several lines to do this problem. So I have a 3x here that I just have to write down because I've got to do my distributive property first. So I have 4 times 2x plus 4 times y. Now I'm going to do 2 times the 3, I've got to use the distributive property, plus 2 times the negative 2y. Now we have to simplify this multiplication. So I still bring my 3x down. I can't do anything else with it yet. 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 times y is 4y. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times negative 2y is negative 4y. All right, now just like we did here, we've got to go through and underline like terms. So I've got a 3x here, so I've got terms of x. Oh, I got terms of x here too. I don't have terms of x here. I don't have terms of x here. And this is 6, and this is negative 4y. I don't know what I did there. See how that's 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times negative 2y is negative 4y. I believe I said negative 4y, I just didn't write it down. So I don't have an x here, I don't underline it in blue, I don't have an x here, I don't have an x here. All right? So, next I'm going to do terms of y. And this ends up being, they're side by side, so I want to write them side by side. Now we're going to the y's. There's a y. That's not a y. That is. So let's write it down. Now you're saying, wait a minute, there's something left. Yes, because everything has to have an underline. There's nothing else, so I don't combine any like terms with that. So now I say, okay, I've got like terms here. I've got like terms here. I just have that constant out on the end. So we reverse our distributive property by saying, what do they have in common? They both have an x. What do you multiply by x to get 3x? 3. What do you multiply by x to get 8x? 8. What do they have in common? A y. What do you multiply by y to get 4y? A 4. What do you multiply by y to get negative 4y? A negative 4. 3 plus 8 is 11 times x is 11x. 4 plus negative 4 is 0. 0 times y is 0 plus 6. Well, now I've got like terms here, 0 plus 6. So my answer is 11x plus 6. And that is the final answer. Now I want to tell you that most people, when they get to this line right here, they will say 4m plus negative 6m. Once you get more experience, you're going to say it's negative 2m. And then negative 3p plus p, you're going to say it's negative 2p or minus 2p. It's just getting experience doing it. When you get to this line, most people are going to say this is 11x. They're going to say, well, 4y plus negative 4y is the same as 4y minus 4y, which is 0. And we add 6 to it, 11x plus 6. So up here will be a link to my original lesson if you need to review this more. Down here will be a link to more tray arithmetic lessons. Down here, over in this corner, there will be a subscribe button, so subscribe to Tray Arithmetic, to Mr. Chu. You're subscribing to me, to my YouTube channel, where I've got Tray Arithmetic Plus videos, I've got Bare Algebra videos, and I have Brack Geometry videos. Subscribe and we will learn this together. I'll see you next time in another video.